I see it in the comments every single day. Bruce, what about those of us doing it on our own? Bruce, I'm divorced. How does the math change for me? Bruce, my partner passed away and suddenly the rules feel like they're written in a different language. Well, today we're stopping the couples only talk, because if you are retiring single in Australia in 2026, you aren't just facing a different lifestyle, you are facing a completely different and much more brutal mathematical ruler from Centrelink.
Most of the advice out there is built for the standard couple. 2 people, 1 house, 1 big bucket of super. But when you're single, the government doesn't just cut the requirements in half. They shrink your safety net, they lower your thresholds, and they leave you standing on a much narrower ledge. Today, I'm going to show you the single asset cliff. We're going to run the actual 2026 numbers on what it costs to live alone versus what Centrelink allows you to keep. And I'm going to show you the single person's double whammy. The moment where having just $10,000 too much can cost you $20,000 a year in lost benefits. If you're retiring solo, whether by choice, by divorce or by loss, this is the reality check you won't get from a bank manager. Let's get straight into the math. To understand why you're being squeezed, you have to understand the logic, or lack thereof, in Canberra. In the eyes of Centrelink, 2 people living together is efficient. You share 1 fridge, 1 roof and 1 electricity bill. Because of that, they give couples a fairly generous asset runway. In 2026, if you're a homeowner couple, you can have roughly $480,000 in combined assets, super, cars, savings, and still get the full age pension. You don't get kicked off the system entirely until you hit about $1.03 million. But look what happens when you're single. The full pension threshold for a single homeowner drops to just $321,500. Now stop and think about that. They don't give you half of the couple's limit. If they did, it'd be $240,000. So on the surface, $321,000 looks okay, right? Wrong. Because while the limit is higher than half, your costs as a single person are significantly higher than half. You still have to pay 100% of the council rates, 100% of the water connection fees, 100% of the home insurance. The efficiency of scale disappears, but the asset test doesn't care. It treats you as if you're a luxury unit of 1. And here is where it gets nasty. The cut-off point. A couple can hold $1 million and still get a drip feed from the government. A single person? You are booted off the pension entirely at $722,000. If you have $723,000 in super and savings in 2026, Centrelink looks at you and says, "You're on your own, mate. Good luck." Now, some of you are thinking, "Bruce, $722,000 is a lot of money. I'll be fine." Will you? Let's look at the taper trap. This is the part of the math that breaks people's hearts at the kitchen table. For every $1,000 you have over that $321,500 full pension limit, the government strips away $3 of your pension every single fortnight. That sounds small. It's not. It's a 7.8% tax on your savings before you even spend a cent. Let's look at Sarah. Sarah is 67. She's single, she owns her home, and she's worked hard to save $500,000 in her super. She's $178,500 over the limit. Centrelink tapers her pension down. Instead of getting the full $28,000 a year, the single rate in 2026, she only gets about $14,000. Now, compare Sarah to John. John has $300,000. He gets the full $28,000 pension. Sarah has $200,000 more in the bank than John, but her total income, between her super drawdown and her part pension, is almost identical to John's. Sarah is effectively being punished for those extra 10 years of hard work. She has more wealth on paper, but she has the exact same lifestyle as John. This is the middle-class single trap. You are too rich for the government to help you, but too poor to be truly self-funded. But it's not just about the cash in your bank account. It's about the golden ticket. If you're a couple and one of you qualifies for a part pension, you both usually get the concession card.
As a single person, the moment you hit that $722,000 cutoff, that card is gone. I've done the math on this for dozens of clients. That piece of plastic is worth between $4,000 and $6,000 a year in the real world. Cheap medicine on the PBS, discounts on your car rego, half-price council rates, cheaper hearing aids and dental. When you're single, you don't have a partner's card to lean on. If you lose yours, your cost of living doesn't just go up, it explodes. I see people with $750,000 in super who are actually worse off than people with $500,000 because they are paying full price for everything, while the 500k person is getting the seniors discount on life. It is a mathematical absurdity. We have to talk about the hardest group of all, the single retirees who don't own their home. In 2026, the rental market in Australia is a shark tank. If you are 67, single and renting, the asset test thresholds are higher. You can have about $565,000 before you lose the full pension. But that extra money is a drop in the ocean compared to the cost of rent. If you're paying $600 a week for a modest unit, that's $31,000 a year. The entire single-age pension is only $28,000. Do the math. You are $3,000 in the hole before you've even bought a loaf of bread. If you are in this position, you cannot afford to play wait and see with your super. You have to be aggressive. You have to look at rent assistance, which, let's be honest, is a joke in 2026. And you have to look at ways to move your assets into the exempt column. So, what do? If you're staring at these 2026 numbers and realising you're about to be tapered into poverty, how do you fight back? 1. The home is your castle and your shield. Your family home is the only asset Centrelink ignores. If you have $750,000 in super and you're being denied a pension, and your house needs a new roof or a kitchen from this century, do it now. Sink $50,000 of that penalised super into your exempt home. Your bank balance drops to $700,000. Suddenly, you're back on the pension. You've traded cash that the government was taxing through the taper rate for a lifestyle asset that increases your home value. 2. The funeral bond. You can put up to $15,500 in 2026 into a funeral bond. It's an exempt asset. It takes that money off the Centrelink radar instantly. It's not a huge amount, but for a single person, $15,000 can be the difference between a part pension and no pension. 3. Gifting, the 10-30 rule. You can give away $10,000 a year or $30,000 over 5 years. If you're sitting just over a threshold, helping a grandkid with a car isn't just a nice gesture, it's a tactical financial move to get your assets under the cliff. 4. The annuity strategy. Some annuities have complying status, where only a portion of the investment counts toward the asset test. This is where you need a specialist, not a generalist.
Look, retiring single isn't just about half the money. It's about understanding that the system is weighted against you. The government wants you to spend your own money so they don't have to. They are banking on you not knowing these thresholds. They are banking on you being too overwhelmed to do the math. Don't give them the satisfaction. Go to the Services Australia website. Look up the Payment and Service Finder. Run the numbers for a single person in 2026. If this helped you understand the single person's trap, do me a favour, hit that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this isn't just another finance video, it's a survival guide for Aussies. And if you want to support what I'm doing here, keeping the bastards honest, hit that join button below. It helps me keep these videos free from corporate sponsors who just want to sell you more super.
I'm the Retired Aussie. Protect your assets, watch your math, and I'll see you in the next one.